Hello and welcome. I'm Ashley Wright, Executive Director for the United Way here in Paducah-McCracken County, and your host for Your United Way, a show all about connecting you with your community. As many of you know, the United Way helps raise a large sum of money for many worthy organizations right here in our community every year. But what you might not know is exactly who those agencies are and what they're doing that's making such a huge impact in the place that we live and work. I have the opportunity today to introduce you to two wonderful people who are doing great work here in our community. I want to do that during this episode and hopefully in the upcoming year bring even more great organizations onto this show so that you can learn up close and personal what agencies are doing right here in Paducah and McCracken County. Today I have with me Anita Wyatt, who's with St. Nicholas Clinic here in Paducah.
Yes.
Hi, how are you doing?
Thank you, yes.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
I wanted to make sure and have the opportunity to kind of introduce you and what St. Nick does for this community. So tell us a little bit about St. Nicholas Clinic.
Well, St. Nicholas Clinic started in October of 1994, and they started in a small building. It was the old Kiwanis building on Broadway. And from that point, as the population grew and the community found out what we did, then they moved from there to our current location, which is 1901 Kentucky Avenue.
Who can receive services? Can anybody walk off the street and receive services at St. Nick's?
That's basically what our clinic is set up for, is for walk-in. Anybody can receive services that meet our criteria, and what I mean by that is you have to earn 185% of poverty level or below and be working, or someone in your family must be working. So we serve the low-income working families in the 8-county area. So
what does, if a person comes in and they have to show proof of employment, I guess, and so if they show that, then how many times can they come, how often, what are the guidelines for that?
Well, once they become eligible for the clinic, if you've never been to the clinic before, you bring 2 consecutive pay stubs of your current job. And this can be a full-time job, part-time job, or if I'm married and my husband works and I don't work, then you bring in your husband's last 2 consecutive pay stubs. So the best thing that people can do to see if they qualify is probably call the clinic, and you can do that by calling 575-3247, because there's a lot of elements that play into that criteria. Household size, obviously,
sure.
You can make more than if you were a single person.
What are your hours if someone wants to come in and receive services?
Well, our hours are from Tuesday through Friday. We're open Tuesday through Friday, and our hours are from 10 until 4:30 on Wednesday and Friday, but on Tuesday and Thursday, we stay open as long as we have patients to see.
It sounds like there's a lot going on at St. Nicholas. Now, how long have you been the director?
I've been the director there for 6 years now.
Okay. So in that time, in the last 6 years, what has changed? How have things evolved in the last 6 years?
It's funny. If you ask my staff and volunteers, they'll say, a whirlwind of things. But when I first got to St. Nicholas, one of the major things I noticed were people were lining up outside the clinic, and they were lining up in all kinds of weather, snow, sleet, rain, it didn't matter, for hours. And of course, if you're sick, you don't necessarily feel like doing
sure.
that. So we went to a numbering system. And what I mean by that is you can come into the clinic like at 10 o'clock in the morning, that's when our doors open, and you receive a number for that night on a Tuesday and Thursday evening. So if you have the number, you're going to be seen. So you can leave, go back to work, not have to pay a babysitter that long, do what you need to do as long as you're back in the clinic by 3:45, because that's when we start triaging people.
Okay. So it sounds a lot of efficiency there.
Yeah, that was the first thing. Then we went, people were calling in, if I take hypertensive medication and I take it on an ongoing basis, then I have to call in my refills. Well, people were calling in refills at all kinds of times of the days, and we only have 5 full-time employees that work at our clinic. So we went to a call-in system, which is just like you would do at a regular pharmacy. So a patient would have like from Friday night at 6 o'clock until Monday at midnight in order to call in their prescriptions for the next month. And then we have somebody come in and we take those off the machine. You're instructed exactly what number to dial, exactly what you leave, in order for your prescription to be filled. Then we decided, well, we actually need to close down a week and go over everything. What I mean by that is policy and procedures. What in this program is working, what is not working. How can we improve? Maybe we shouldn't be doing something that we're doing. So we take that full week and we go over those policies.
That's great.
We also added a diabetic program, and it's called Diabesity. Kentucky is rated way up there as far as obesity in the state. And obesity leads to all kinds of problems, especially with diabetics. So we started the program for people that are insulin dependent and to try to get those people stabilized. And from that point, we went to people that had a potential of contracting diabetes.
Okay.
And so in that program, behavior modification is done. Really a lot of education on foods and what you can eat and the times a day you eat. And then we decided, well, we need to add a mentoring program. So we took a seasoned diabetic, if you want to put it that way, that's been through our program, and we coupled that with a new person that's just coming into the program.
So kind of a buddy system.
A buddy system. A lot of times we can learn from our peers. They can put it on a level where maybe we can't.
Yeah.
So we instituted that. And then we went to Lourdes and Western Baptist Hospital. And we approached them with, let's add a nurse practitioner to our staff. By doing that, we're going to keep more people out of your emergency room. We're going to see more people on Tuesday and Thursday night that maybe we couldn't see before, that we had to turn away because there was no doctor available. So by doing that, it has made such a tremendous, impact on the clinic. You have a continuity of service that way.
The way you would if you went into your regular
doctor's office. And so that has helped just tremendously.
You've talked a little bit about the staff that you have, and it's a very small staff considering what you do in this community, but how many people actually come through your clinic a year?
I can tell you last year we saw 1,881 people.
Wow.
Which consisted of 5,005 visits.
So
to the
how many, if you just went into a normal doctor's office, how many employees would it take probably to serve that number in just a normal doctor's office?
It depends on how the way that the doctor's office is structured. You've got receptionists and scheduling people and nurses and maybe a nurse practitioner, and then you've got receptionists or blood lab, technicians.
Sure.
So we have 5 people that sees 8 counties. We have 5 full-time employees to see 8 counties. One of the things we instituted in addition to that was putting on a pharmacy secretary. We work with a lot of indigent drug programs, and it's overwhelming for one person. You may be on 5 medications and deal with 5 different companies, and one person can't do that for over 1,800 people. So that's one of the things that United Way did for us as a one-time grant about 3 years ago. And since that, we have allotted that in our budget, which brings down our pharmacy costs tremendously.
Well, we are quickly running out of time, but I think it's important for people to hear kind of what are some of the life-changing benefits that people have experienced when they come through your clinic.
You hear those stories every day. I know I work on Tuesday evenings also when clinic's going on, and I came out of my office one night and there was 2 little kids, and they were on both sides of a nurse, and they were pulling on her sleeve, and they were saying, "We want to thank you for helping our mommy. Our mommy can play with us now. We can do things together, And we received a Christmas card, and we received several of these during the year, but this is from a man that actually had been diagnosed with diabetes 12 years ago and had received no services. He could not afford those services. So the poorer you are, the sicker you are, because that's the last thing that you pay attention to when you need to put food on the table. But this card says, thank God to all the nurses, staff, volunteers at the St. Nicholas Family Clinic. God bless all, and I will pay you back someday. So, the working people that we serve they're tremendous people and very appreciative.
Are you in need of volunteers? If someone is watching right now and they'd like to volunteer, tell me who can volunteer. Do they have to have a medical background? What are you needing?
Actually, they don't have to have a medical background, and we couldn't do what we do for 8 counties unless we had volunteers, and we have about 90. But what people can do is go to our website,
okay,
which is www.stnicholasfamilyclinic.com. Click on the volunteer tab, and that will explain every volunteer position that we have at the clinic.
Great.
And also, we're trying to get off the ground, will be December 10th, our thrift shop, which is next door. And we desperately need people for that thrift shop.
Okay.
We have one person there that's putting all of this together, and she desperately needs help too.
Okay.
But we are a partner agency, and we rely on that money from United Way so much for our drug program. But we also know that we have to help ourselves. And by doing this, we're hoping that that's going to bring in more funds for us to use.
Well, I think you all are doing amazing work, and the United Way is very proud to partner with you and be a part of what you're doing in this community. And we just thank you so much for being a part of our show today, and we look forward to having you on here again.
Thank you.
Anita. And stay tuned. We'll have Cindy Barletto from the Paducah Day Nursery back with us in just a moment. Hello and welcome back. We have with us today Cindy Barletto, who's the Executive Director for the Paducah Day Nursery here in Paducah. Thank you for joining us, Cindy.
Thank you for having us, Ashley.
I want to talk real quickly about sort of the history of the Paducah Day Nursery. It is obviously a nursery that's taking care of children, but what makes the Paducah Day Nursery so different from other nurseries in Paducah?
Well, Paducah Day Nursery was originally Paducah Mothers Club, and it was the first child care center in Paducah. It was established in 1916, so there's a long history there. We've always been a not-for-profit center. And I have people that come up today that are, in their 50s, 60s, 70s that said, I attended, Paducah Day Nursery or Paducah Mothers Club. So, there is a very strong history of Paducah Day Nursery in Paducah.
Who can receive services from Paducah Day Nursery?
You either have to be working or going to school. That's the two criteria. We have a lot of part-time students that work full-time, go to school part-time, single mothers. We have the special thing about Paducah Day Nursery is we are also the only child care center in Paducah that offers, and that's the nonprofit part of it, that offers our fees on a sliding scale, which is based on the parent's income. So if you get a working mother with 2 children that's making $7 an hour, her daily rate will be $7 a day.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, yes. Also, if you get a full-time, a mother that's going to school full-time and has 2 children, her rate would be about the same way. So it allows parents to be able to go to work and, because could you imagine if you were making $7, an hour to pay some of the area rates of, $16 to $21 a day.
Is that per child?
That is per child.
Okay.
And we do give a sibling discount on, if we have 2 children in the center, we take $1 off each rate.
So how many children during the course of a year will you have enrolled?
Currently we have 83 children enrolled. Our capacity is 67. What we do have is some children that the mothers work or go to school Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So we're able to fill that spot. Our capacity is 67. That's the most that we can have in the building. But we're able to play with the schedules a little bit so we can enroll a few more children and allow a few more parents to receive that benefit.
And I know that there have been times when you and I have talked and you've been telling me that you're going through, and correct me if I'm not going to say this correctly, but the STARS accreditation, is that correct?
Stars for Kids Now. It's an excellent program. Basically what it is, for anybody who's not familiar, is it's a quality rating system. And basically what it says is any child care center that participates in STARS, that means that they go above and beyond the minimum licensing requirement. And basically the reason why Paducah Day Nursery wanted to participate in it is to show the people who contribute to Paducah Day Nursery, families, all of anybody outside, and to be able to give our children and to show them that we're doing what we need to do in a day to have the children ready for Head Start, ready for kindergarten, and just to ensure that we're giving them the best environment that they need.
Well, I know I've been to your facility a number of times, and it's just an amazing opportunity to see these children and with really loving staff and volunteers there working with them, and it just seems like a wonderful place.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, it is such a great nursery, and it is doing something for low-income families that not a lot of other nurseries or organizations can do. So is there a long waiting list?
We do have a waiting list right now, which is unfortunate because I become, very, disheartened whenever I do have to turn a family away at that time, because a lot of the times whenever they need child care services, our future plans are to get, we can only have a certain amount. Our capacity is our capacity. Our future plans would be to have a larger building. Right now, though, if there's ever a need, if it's a child protection order or something, we do try to make room and allowances. But, get on the waiting list, come in and see us. We will do our best. Unfortunately, whenever we get our children there, between our families and the children and, the staff that we have there, we keep them. We truly do until they're at the age to, go on to school full time. So
Now, what ages do you serve?
6 weeks to 12 years.
Okay.
So, we have them babies to school age, and they're all beautiful, blessed little beings there.
What are some of the I guess, tell me a little bit about some of the families that you have worked with and you've seen a huge impact because of their time at the nursery?
Well, there's nothing better than, and of course we do a sliding scale based on the parent's income, so there's nothing better than that mother. I've started, I took on as director in October of 2005, and I've been able to see some parents that have went through the program and have went through school, and now of course they're paying, we do the sliding scale anywhere from $6 to $16 a day. That parent of course gets reevaluated, but they've went through college and now they're out working, able to pay, able to provide, able to give, normal schedules. It's truly just a blessing. To see, and we've seen a little bit of a difference in dynamics. This has just been in the last couple of years where we have more grandparents.
Yeah.
In the last year alone, we have had 11 children in our child care center that the grandparents are their primary custodian.
I'm wondering if the economy and the way that things are going right now has impacted the number of people seeking your services.
Definitely. And also you can see it on the parents' faces when they come in the door. We had a child a couple of weeks ago that was saying, the only thing that we have in our ice box is ice. We have no food.
Wow.
And, I contacted the parent and the mother says, assistance doesn't go up. She doesn't receive any more benefits than she did before, but gas prices with what they were, and she lives out in the county and she still has to go go to work every day, it very much affects, the people that are seeking our services.
Can people volunteer at the Paducah Day Nursery?
We would not live without volunteers. Right now we have RSVP, which is also a United Way partner agency. We have some seniors come over and read to the children. They enjoy it. They may not know the day that the volunteer comes, but if a volunteer has to miss for a week, they know it. The children count on it. And that's the children. Of course, that's just a plus for, the staff and the teachers. But we have people that come in and do projects as far as, our building is getting to be where it's a little bit older, that they come in and do some painting projects and some repair projects. So we're always in need of volunteers.
If someone wanted to volunteer, do they have to go through a background check, or what do you have to do?
They would have to go through a background check if we left them alone, but we don't, as soon as a volunteer comes in, we don't say, okay, here you go, here, you can have all these children. No, we always stay in the room with them. So, basically all they would need to do is contact us, kind of set up a time, and no, we would welcome them in with open arms.
As you mentioned earlier, you are a partner agency with the United Way. Can you tell me a little bit, or tell the viewers a little bit about what that actually does for the nursery, what those dollars actually do in the community when they're given to the Paducah Day Nursery?
Well, first of all, the dollars are what help us bridge the gap. Of course, it definitely costs more than $7 a day to have a child in a child care center for 8 to 10 hours a day. So the United Way dollars help bridge the gap of what it actually costs and what we charge. Now that's the dollar part of it. Being a partner agency with United Way also brings so many resources. Whenever we go out and speak in the community, for a campaign or whatever the reason is, you would not believe how many people we get to touch because you've introduced us to these people. We have people that bring by needed items, that volunteer, people that didn't know about what the needs are. And I think that, I get so so encouraged every time we go out, because there has never been a time that we haven't went out to speak that we haven't had at least 2 or 3 people that have shown an interest and, have brought in donations to Paducah Day Nursery.
Speaking of donations, what are some actual physical items that you need, that you're running low on right now?
We always, of course, need diapers. There's no, we have to have them. Baby wipes, arts and craft supplies, used toys. There's nothing better than to get somebody's used toys, and our children think they're new to them, and
Sure.
we will, wear them out. We will use them until, there's nothing left of them. So, clothes, gently worn clothes. We're not picky. There's always a need for items such as that. There's nothing we would turn away.
You told me one time about you brought in some clothes from your own family,
Yes.
and what that did as far as the reaction of the parent.
6 pairs of blue jeans. One of them still had tags, so I should be ashamed of that. But the mother that we gave them to had tears in her eyes. And it just made you really think that, which it makes me feel good, because then I can see that child wearing,
Yeah.
the blue jeans that still had tags on them that we didn't deem, so it's such a blessing. And whenever you see a reaction like that, it really lets you know, how much people are struggling out there to even clothe, and feed their children.
Yeah. What if a church group wanted to get involved, or if just a civic group or a family wanted to do something, can they just call the office? Do you help arrange that?
Oh,
or?
definitely. And it's either, what they want to do or what we want to do. If it's a repair, if they want to take on a painting project, or if they just want to come in and read and hang out to the children. We have school-age children that, all need some homework help. So that in the afternoons, we've had some high school students that will come in and do, homework help. If you just want to sit down and read to the children, if you just want to sit there and rock a baby, sometimes there's nothing better and that puts everything into perspective than to just sit down and rock a baby and give them time. And what might only seem like, 20 minutes to you, to them, it's one more person in this world that loves and cares about them. And it'll actually make you feel better, I think, than the children. I truly feel like everybody that walks out of there, truly feels a little bit better, and there's nothing like a hug from a 2-year-old to brighten your day.
Well, as we're kind of closing up our time, I'm wondering if there is, just anything in particular that you want to leave the viewers with, as far as what you're doing at the Paducah Day Nursery, or what you want them to know about the children that you're serving?
The children that we're serving, you know, of course we have a broad range, such a wide variety, such a diverse group of children, but they are all children. And all children, you know, of course with low-income family, they may need a little bit more help, but they are so very intelligent, and I feel like with the help of United Way and people in the community, we are able to give these children an even start. Yeah. We are able to give them, you know, the same start that every other child should be able to have, and we're very thankful for that.
Well, I appreciate your time so much, and I think it's so important for people to know that one of the focus areas of the United Way is care and education of children, and I think the Paducah Day Nursery truly embodies that focus, that you all are doing such great work. And again, just like St. Nicholas Clinic, we're just very proud to work with you and to help support the great work you're doing here in our community. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Ashley.
And thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again on our next episode as we highlight even more agencies that are doing great work here in our community. Thank you.